Welcome to another section of Rad Academy. So today we are going to pick a past question on um, accounting. That is the foundation of accounting. DU 104. Question 2. Past question 2023-2024 academic year. On account for non-profit organization. Okay, I read. The following is a summary of receipts and payments of the East Legon Executive Club during the year ended 31st December 2022. Sorry, 2020. Receipt and payment account for the year ended 31st December 2020. So for the receipt side, we have the cash and bank balance brought forward to be 2,100. Sales of competition tickets to 4,370. We have member subscription to be 19,870. You have donations to be 1,770. You have refund of rent to be 5,000. You have balance carry forward to be 130. On the payment side, we have the secretarial expenses to be 1,630. We have rent to be 14,020. Visiting expenses 12,750. Donations to charity 350. Prizes for competition 2,700. Stationery and printing 1,790. So the following valuations are also available as at 31st December 2019 and 2020. Equipment original cost was 14,200. In 2019, it was 9,750. 2020, it was 7,800. Subscription in arrears 650, 850. Subscription in advance 100, 370. Owings to suppliers of commutation prices 580, 680. Stock of commutation prices 380, 460. It said you are required to calculate the value of the accumulated fund of the East Legon Executive Club as at 31st December 2019. B. Reconstruct the following account for the year ended 31st December 2020. I. The subscription account. II. The competition price account. And C. Prepare an income and expenditure account for the East Legon Executive Club for the year ended 31st December 2020 and a statement of financial position as at that date. So this is a question on account for non-profit organization. So after reading this question, you move to the requirements. The first requirement is to calculate the accumulated fund of the East Legon Executive Club as at 31st December 2019. So even if the question is not asking you to calculate the accumulated fund, and in the question there is no accumulated fund, you have to do it yourself. And then this question is saying we should do that. So for you to get your accumulated fund as at 31st December 2019, you have to prepare a statement of affairs as at 31st December 2019. So let's do that. So statement of affairs as at 31st December 2019. So what you do is record all the assets as at all the assets as at 2019. So let's record the assets as at 2019. So when you look at the question, the asset as at 2019 was equipment, and the cost as at 2019 was 9,750. Then we have stock. So normally with this one, you look at the balances that have been given to you in the question, where they said the following valuations are also available. That is where you pick your asset and um, liabilities. So we have stock of competition prices. Stock is an asset. So as soon as you see the stock, it should tell you that it's an asset. So stock of competition prices, which is also 380. Then we have subscription in arrears, which is also an asset. And as at 2019, it was 650. Then we have, I always tell you that here you can, when you look at the following valuations, you don't see cash and bank there. But then when you look at the receipt and payment that has been given to you, they've given you an opening balance. That opening balance is as at 31st December 2019. So even though it's not part of this, the balance is given to you. A receipt and payment account, the opening balance is as at the beginning of the period. So you have to come and add it. So we add the cash and bank opening balance. That is the cash and bank balance brought forward. Cash. It is 2100. So that is all. We add, then we get 12,880. That is the total asset as at 31st December 2019. Then we come to the liabilities. We come to the liabilities. Come to the liabilities. So we find all the liabilities as at 31st December 2019. So when we look at the question, we have subscription in advance, which is a liability. Subscription in advance, which is that's at 2019, it was 100. Then we have owings to suppliers of competition prices. We are owing suppliers. We are owing suppliers. So if you are owing suppliers, it is a liability just like creditors. So owings to suppliers. Owings to suppliers of competition prices. It is 580. So when we add this, we will get 680. Then we less our liabilities from our assets. Then we will get 12,200. That is all. So if you're able to do this, you've gotten your accumulated assets 31st December 2019. You are done with the A part of the question. So that is it. This is all what you have to do. Find your assets as at 2019. Find your liabilities as at 2019. Find the difference between the two. And the answer is your accumulated fund. That is all. Let's move to the next question. The next question said we should reconstruct the subscription account. I've already thought out how to prepare the subscription account. You can watch my other video on how to prepare subscription accounts. I have done that. So let's prepare our subscription account. So with a subscription account, it is an income. It is an income account. So we are going to use the subscription in arrears and subscription in advance to record the balances. So we have subscription account. So this is our subscription account. So what you will do is we are going to use the subscription in arrears and subscription in advance to record the balances first. So first of all, you ask yourself subscription in advance, subscription in arrears, is it an asset or a liability? Subscription in arrears is an asset, and all assets have a debit balance, meaning the opening balance, which is the 2019, will be on the debit side. So you come here and you write balance brought down, which is 650. And if the opening balance is on the debit side, then definitely the closing balance will be on the credit side. So balance carried down is 850. Then after that, you move to the subscription in advance. Is it an asset or a liability? It is a liability, and all liabilities have a credit balance. So if it has a credit balance, then it means the opening balance, which is the 2019, will be on the credit side. So balance go down, which is 100. And if the opening balance is on the credit side, then it means the closing balance would be on the debit side. So balance carried down is 370. Now we are done recording the balances. Then you move to the receipts and payment accounts. How much subscription was received? You find that on the receipt side, that is the debit side. So the member subscription is 19,870, and it is on the debit side, it is on the receipt side. So it means when the receipt and payment account is coming to the subscription account, it will go to the credit side. Because this is on the debit side, when it comes to the subscription account, it will go to the credit side. So we come to the credit side and record receipts and payments, which is 19,870. So after that, we balance the account. We balance the account. So when we balance the account, we have a total of 2820. And the difference will come here, and that difference is what will go to the income and expenditure account. Income and expenditure account. So the difference will give us 19,800. That is all. So we are done preparing our. Right. So what I'm writing here is the balance carried down over here. We don't use that to balance our account, but then we just need to write it. So we are done preparing our subscription accounts. We are done with preparing our subscription account. So this one is AI, and this one is A, this one is B. So that is all. Then we move to the II. The II said we should prepare the competition price account. So we are going to prepare the competition price account. So we look into the question. Anything concerning the competition will go into the competition price account. That is how we are going to prepare it. Anything concerning the competition will go to the competition price account. So let's prepare it. So we have, so this one is II, competition price account. Okay. So when we look at the question, we have owings to suppliers of competition prices. That is about competition. That is about the competition. So it means you have to record it in the competition price account. So we said owings to suppliers, and we know owings to suppliers is a liability. Figures that you are seeing there in the following valuation, they are just balances. So that is what we are, that is a balance that is supposed to be the owings to suppliers of competition prices, the balance that is supposed to be in the competition price account. So owings to suppliers is a liability. So what that is what it means. So if it is a liability, then it means it has a credit balance. So it means that the balance over here, that is the owings to suppliers, we are going to have a balance brought down here. We can put into brackets creditors. Can put into bracket creditors. Because owings to suppliers is 580. Then if the balance brought down is on the credit side, then it means the balance carried down will be on the debit side. Balance carried down can put into brackets creditors, which is 680. Okay. Then we have stock of competition prices. Is it about competition? So we have to record it. So it's the stock that we are going to use to determine whether it's an asset or a liability. So stock or inventory is an asset, and all assets have a debit balance. So if it has a debit balance, then it means the opening balance will be on the debit side. So we can write balance, go down, and maybe you can put stock here. Then we write 380. And if the opening balance is on the debit side, then it means the closing balance will be on the credit side. Then you can put stock here. Then we is 460. Okay. So then we look through the question again. When you look through the question, on the receipt side, we have sale of competition tickets. Sale of competition tickets. Sale of competition tickets. And sale of competition tickets. It is on the receipt side of the receipt and payment accounts. It's on the receipt side of the receipt. It's on the receipt side of the receipt and payment account. So if it is on the receipt side of receipt and payment account, then it means it will come to the competition price account on the credit side. Because they said anything concerning the competition account should come to the competition rights account. So we come here and we see sale of competition. Competition tickets, which is 4370. Then when you come to the payment side, we have prices for competition, prices for competition, prices for competition. So prices for competition, that is payment was made. So that is cash. Payment was made. Payment was made. So if payment was made, that is means it is on the credit side. So if it is on the credit side, then it means it will come to the debit side of the competition price account. We are putting all these things inside the competition price account because of the competition, because they are all related to the competition. Anything concerning the competition will come there. So we have prices for competition, which is on the payment side. So what we'll do is we will bring it on the debit side. So receipt and payment account, or let's say cash. You can say cash too, because it was paid. So that is 2,700. That is all in the question. So after that, you balance your account. You balance your account. So when you balance your account, you have your total here to be 5410, and you have here to be 5410. So the difference will be on the debit side, and that difference is what will go to the income and expenditure. Income and expenditure. So since it is on the debit side, it means there was profit made on the competition. So that will give us 1,650. So if the income and expenditure had been on the credit side, then we could say that after the competition there was a loss. But then since it is on the debit side, it means that there was a profit made on the competition. So that is all. So let's write our balance brought down to be 680 here. Then we come here to write our balance brought down here to be 460. Okay, so we are done with this. Then the next question said we should prepare the income and expenditure accounts. So let's do that. So let's prepare our income and expenditure accounts. To income and expenditure accounts. And the 31st December 2020. So for you to prepare this, you let's bring our CD sign. Then we start with income. So we start to list our income. So income, let's start with our subscription. So our subscription, we had 19,800 to come to the income and expenditure accounts. Then the profit that was made from the competition prices, profits for the competition price. So we had this figure from the competition account we prepared. So there was a profit. So that is 1,650. Then we have donations. When you move to the receipt side, we have donations. We have donations, which is 177. Someone will say refund of rent. No, we can't consider the refund of rent as an income. It's just a refund of an expense, and we can't say that it's an income. But what you do is the amount that was paid for rent, the amount that was paid for rent, we less the refund from it. That is all. But then we can't treat the refund of rent as an income. So it does not really increase the income, and we consider that as a refund of expense. So we don't treat that as an income. No, although it's on the receipt side, we don't treat that as an income. What you do is when we get to the expenditure account and we write the rent amount that was paid for rent, we less the refund from it. That is all. So the total for this one, the income is 23320. Then we come to the expenditure. Come to the expenditure. So when we come to the expenditure, we have. So that is where you find all your expenditure on the payment side. So we have the secretarial expense, which is 1,630. Then we have the rent. So the rent, the amount that was paid was 14,020, and the refund was 5,000. So we just less. Then we get 9020. Then we come to the visiting. So you normally pick all these from the payment side of the receipt and payment account. Speakers, expenses, which is 12,750. Then donations to charity. So these donations is on the payment side, which shows that there's an expenditure, which is 350. Then we have stationery and printing, 1,970. Then we have depreciation. We have depreciation. The question will not tell you, but then you have to look for it. You have depreciation of equipment. Someone will ask why is there depreciation? So let me explain this one. So you see, in my previous videos, I normally explain that the balance when there is 2 years and 1 year, between that 1 year, that is the first year and the second year, the value of the non-current asset has reduced. Then there is depreciation. So when you look at this figure, 2019 for the equipment is 9,750, and the 2020 is 7,800, which means the value has what? Reduced, which means it is a depreciation, which means it's a depreciation. Yes, it is a depreciation. We have to find the difference between the two and treat that difference as what? Depreciation. But this with this particular question, if you find the difference, yes, so you find the difference between the two, what is 2019 and what? 2020. So the difference between the nine, so the difference is 9,750 minus 7,800. And that difference will give us 9,000 and what? 50. So that is it. I always say that some questions will not tell you find depreciation 10% on this. They will just give you the balances of the non-current asset. That is the opening balance and the closing balance. As soon as you see the balance has reduced, that is the closing balance has reduced, then it should tell you that there is what? Depreciation. You find the difference between the opening balance and the closing balance, and that difference is your depreciation. You treat it as depreciation. Don't forget that. So we are done with the expenditure. So we list all our expenditures. We list all our expenditures, and we have 27,490. So when we less, it is a minus, and that minus is called a deficit. That minus is called a deficit. So there is excess of expenditure over the income. That is called deficit. So that amount is 4,270. So that amount is called deficit. Deficit. So we did not get a surplus, we had a deficit. That is all. So now we are done preparing our income and expenditure accounts for the year ended. Let's move to the statement of financial position. Very easy. Okay. So when we move to the statement of financial position, twenty 20. So we write, we have with a non-current, we are going to start with our non-current assets. And with that, we have costs, we have accumulated depreciation, and we have the net book value. So with the non-current assets, we have equipment. We have equipment. And the cost of the equipment in the question is 14,200. Okay. The accumulated depreciation. So with this question, you don't just write only the accumulate. You don't just write the depreciation in. With this particular question, there was a cost. There was a cost. Please listen to this part very well. There was original cost is 14,200, and that's at 2019. It was 19,750. It means that the value has reduced from 14,200 to 9,750, and it has reduced to that value because of depreciation, which means there are previous depreciation, which means they are accumulated depreciation. The previous year's depreciation. We have to find that. And we will find that by finding the difference between the original cost, which is 14,200, from the 2019 figure, which is 9,700 and what? 50. So when we find the difference between these two, that difference is the accumulated depreciation that is for the previous years. So the difference is 4,450. 4,450. That is the accumulated depreciation for the previous year. Because here, that is the accumulated depreciation. We have to add the accumulated depreciation to the current depreciation. So this is the past, this 4,450 is the accumulated depreciation for the previous years. Now we add the current year's depreciation, which is the 1,900 and what 50. So we get 1,950, and we will get 6,400. So this is the accumulated depreciation that is supposed to be here. So in case you go and write only the 1,950, you are wrong. If there was no original cost in the question, like 14,200, then you can put the 1,950 there. But then the question has given you the original cost. And as at 2019, it was 9,750. It means the value has decreased. It was not still as at 2019, it was still not 14,200. So it has reduced to 9,750, and it has reduced to that because of depreciation. So when we get to this point, that is the accumulated depreciation in the statement of financial position, we find the previous year's depreciation and add to the current year's depreciation, and we put it there to know the net book value of the equipment as at 31st December 2020. So let's continue. So we find the difference between the cost and accumulated depreciation. Then we get 7,800. So you can see that in the question. Then we close this one. Let's close this one. Then we deal with this one. Then let's move to the current assets. Let's move to the current asset. So with the current assets, we have stock of prices, which is a current asset. So with this, I always say that with a statement of financial position, we deal with only the closing balances. We always pick the closing balances there. So the closing balance of the stock of prices is 460. Then we have subscription in arrears, which is also an asset, which is 850. Someone will say, then let's bring the closing balance of the cash. Yes, we know cash is an asset, but then when you look at this particular question, they gave us the closing balance, that is the balance carried forward on the receipt side. Normally, the balance carried down should be on the credit side to tell us that it is an asset. But then with this question, the balance carried down was not on the payment side, that is on the credit side. But then we find the balance carried down on the receipt side, which is on the debit side, which is telling us that no, it is not an asset, but then rather a liability. So since it is on the debit side, we don't say it is an asset. We say it is a bank overdraft. But then if the balance carried down in the question were to be on the payment side, then we can bring cash as an asset. But then it is on the debit side, we see it is a liability. So that is a bank overdraft. So we can't in this with this particular question, we can't treat cash as an asset. So the total for this one is 1,031. Then we move to the current liabilities. So with the current liabilities, we have the owings to suppliers, which is 680. Then we have subscription in advance, which is 370. Then we have bank overdrafts. So that is what I'm talking about over there. Bank overdrafts. So we don't treat it as an asset, we treat it as a liability. So that is when you look at the question, it is 130. So that is our liabilities. So we find our liabilities. The total liability is 1180. So we less our current liabilities from our current assets, then we will get 130. So that 130 is called working capital. So we add our working capital to our non-current assets to get 7,930. So this one is assets minus liabilities. We don't have any non-current liability. So then let's move to the next. That is where we continue with our finance by our accumulated fund. So our accumulated fund in the question was 12,200. Then there was a deficit. So there was a deficit. We add deficit. So let's add deficit. So there was a deficit of 4,270. There's a minus. So let's add. And when we add, we get 7,930. And so we are done preparing our of financial position. So that is what. So 7,930 is supposed to balance it. That is what it has done. So here we have 7,930. So that is all for this question. That is all for this question. So subscribe to the channel. There will be more question and answers on this channel. So subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell. Anytime a new video is uploaded, you'll be the first to be notified. And also, if you have any question, put it in the comment section. I'll attend to that. And also share the channel to your friends to also have a benefit of the channel. Bye bye. See you in my next video.